This was some of the worst flooding we've seen since Hurricane Francis in 2004. 2 weeks ago tonight, water inundating homes along the upper Catawba. By dawn, those floodwaters were swamping parts of Mecklenburg County. Damage estimates are still rolling in.
So are complaints about communication and missed forecasts. Tonight, we are also learning it all could have been much worse. Jamie Bull has our problem solver investigation.
It was fast, furious, and it caused a lot of damage.
It's a lot of unnecessary damage.
Up to 11 inches of rain hit the headwaters of the Catawba. The result? Floods we haven't seen in nearly a decade.
It came too quick, too fast.
And in the middle of it all, a potentially even bigger problem was churning here at the Oxford Dam on Lake Hickory. More rain had fallen than forecast. Around 6:30 p.m. on May 5th, Duke pulled the gate up 3 feet. Downstream, Lookout Shoals property owners were told lake levels would rise just past full pond. But by overnight, it was clear Oxford was going to have to be opened wider. But the gate wouldn't budge.
The hoist that is used to move that gate didn't function the way it should have.
Paige Sheehan, a Duke Energy spokesperson, says it was about 7 a.m. Monday the 6th.
They quickly brought in troubleshooters.
But Hickory was nearing full pond, and within an hour, by 8 a.m., it had reached it. Was now coming over the dam and down the auxiliary spillway.
How serious was the problem at Oxford?
The operations of the system was all perfectly safe.
There's 11 reservoirs.
But 3 years ago, Duke engineer George Gallagher said this.
We won't allow Lake Hickory or Oxford Hydro to go over 100. We raise the gates.
It was a safety issue. A person has to cross the dam to hook the gate. Can't do it if water is going over top.
Look, it's over the wall over there.
Now, thankfully, Duke had hooks in one of the gates, because if it hadn't, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission says it could potentially result in a dam safety emergency. But even knowing that, Wayne King, regional engineer for FERC, tells WBTV the condition at Oxford was serious. As he put it, Duke had one gate partially open with no control.
You're telling me it wasn't a problem. Wayne King is saying, yes, it was serious. There's a disconnect there.
What I said was we had an operational challenge for a period of time that we were able to effectively address.
It was serious enough that Duke contacted FERC right away. 20 minutes later, the company called again, saying it may have to go to Condition B, a rare declaration that would signal a higher level of alert to emergency managers. The issue, while the gate was stuck, the water upstream was rising. Massive Lake James was at least 12 hours from cresting.
So did that problem of not being able to raise the gate there at Oxford affect your ability to minimize the impact downstream?
Absolutely not.
The gate was finally fixed around 10 a.m., but Hickory was still rising and didn't stop until it hit its highest level in more than 70 years. 2 more gates were open, and the water rush was on.
But you were telling me there wasn't an impact downstream.
I'm telling you that there was minimal impact downstream, and the data shows that.
The data shows Lookout Shoals in 6 hours went from full pond to 7 feet over. And the crisis wasn't over. The water still needed to get through Lake Norman and then Mountain Island. Duke told Mountain Island residents the lake should stay at 102.5 or below. It also proved to be wishful thinking.
They were terrible 9 years ago, and they were terrible this time, was letting us know how high the water was going to go.
Overnight came word Mountain Island could get to a moderate flood stage. But not everyone got the message.
We had agreements on how they can communicate that knowledge to us, and they didn't do it.
Floodwaters arrived by dawn.
We put on life jackets.
Kathy LaRoche is the Mountain Island Lake Commissioner. She strapped on life jackets to save what she could from her dock.
The speed at which the water rose and the speed of the current surprised you?
It came up a lot faster than I expected.
Around 7 a.m., Charlotte Fire was tweeting voluntary evacuations were underway. Yet a flood warning from the National Weather Service wouldn't come for 3 more hours.
You're right. That came late, and I don't know quite why that was.
The National Weather Service doesn't forecast for the Catawba River because Duke controls the variables, like how much water is being released. The Weather Service, however, will issue warnings based on data Duke provides. In this case, forecasters told us the information was slow in coming. Now, Duke maintains the Weather Service got information in real time, as well as numerous phone calls. Right after our interview with Duke last Friday, the company contacted the Weather Service. One of the forecasters we talked to then called us back to say forecasters have a great relationship with Duke and can get information when they need it. So when asked why the warning was late, we were told river statements had been issued. The problem, only warnings get widespread attention. Molly?
Okay, Jamie, thank you. We can tell you federal regulators have already contacted Duke Energy. FERC wants a full report on exactly what happened by the middle of June. We will let you know what happens there.
Here's the latest now on that killer tornado that hit near Oklahoma City today. At least 51 people right now confirmed dead, 20 of those children. There are fears that many more children could be among the casualties after this elementary school took a direct hit. The storm injured at least 120 others.
To see some of those images come out, you know, the live pictures were coming out an hour after the tornado had left, and you could just see the devastation. Only driveways left, cars off top of bricks, schools flattened.
It's been a heartbreaking night.
It's been
all
a tough
the
thing
pictures.
to see.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Eric Thomas live in the First Alert Weather Center with a look at our weather.
Yeah, Paul, Molly, I think if I was a parent out in Oklahoma City after today, I would probably treat tornado watch days the way we treat snow days around here. I'm not so sure I'd be sending my kid to school after what I saw today. Here's one more shot of that menacing tornado that was rolling through that same area. This is Tom Forst. Thank you, Tom, for that shot. That says it all. Likely this is going to be an F5 before it's all over. And by the way, the EF5 category does begin right at 200 miles an hour, which is already where they're estimating it, so it's not going to take much. Scott Clark's Toyota City weather net 72 degrees. Metro School, we had the intervals of clouds and sunshine this evening. One or two lone storms were meandering across the area during the evening hours, right around sunset. That was basically in our eastern section. 72 degrees, calm winds at the moment. It's a bit muggy with the dew point now 66. Boy, you start approaching 70, the dew point. That is a lot of water vapor in the atmosphere. Humidity at 81%. There's your pressure at 30.03. So the numbers upper 60s, lower 70s, and only a slight drop off across the Blue Ridge, 63 in the Boone and the Blowing Rock area. So your out the door forecast, 68 mild and stuffy conditions as we take you through the next 12 hours or so. Meanwhile, let's look ahead. Over the next 7 days, you'll see that temperatures are going to remain warm until we see a bit of a drop off just in time for the weekend. It's not a big drop-off, but there's other things that are going to be happening, which I think you're going to like if you're a NASCAR fan. One thing that is not really coming our way is this organized line of thunderstorms. Again, the tornadoes. We still have tornado warnings about 120 miles southeast of Oklahoma City, but a lot of this now really ripping into Fort Smith, Arkansas, Fayetteville, that area. And the same areas tomorrow are going to be in that severe weather risk. So the future cast for us, no, we're not going to take a direct hit by that, but you'll see that by late afternoon, we're going to get that popcorn variety instability showers and thunderstorms again. And you know what? The situation is going to repeat itself as we take you into the Wednesday time frame as well. There's your noon, there's your 4 o'clock hour, 7. Things calm down overnight. What about Thursday? Here we go again. You'll see more action working its way into the picture. So the First Alert forecast. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as I just depicted, all 3 of these days are going to be active, but all of a sudden, finally, we see the wind shift, the pattern change. Friday, Saturday, Sunday are going to be gorgeous around here, and that means great news for the Coca-Cola 600 at 6 p.m. on Sunday. Finally, a beautiful weekend on tap. That's the way it is right now. Stay tuned. Paul and Molly coming right back with more.